idea is to solve the larger problem, and the larger problem was affordable is not affordable anymore.
Right.
And I'm not talking just about consumers, I'm talking about us developers, I'm talking about channel partners, I'm talking about almost the whole ecosystem. And why I say that is because we realize that the cost of discovery has become very, very high. And the cost is not just in terms of money, it is also in terms of time. So now imagine a journey for all of us where, you start with a cold database, then you do a lot of effort, to translate into a lead, then that lead translate into a qualified lead, then there is a VC, VP, VC is credible, VP is not, and then the 10% to 20% filter and the effort to bring that customer then to the site. In an affordable category, sales office has to be large. तो sales office को भरना भी है, otherwise FOMO create नहीं होगा. And that can happen only between 12 to 6 p.m. on a Sunday because Saturdays are very unpredictable, working है, नहीं है. So for a project which is 20, 30 plus acres, where sales office is large, business is happening on one day. Imagine a customer staying in Bandra, Khar, Andheri, has to go to Vasai Virar or Panvel or Kalyan. 2 घंटे जाने में लगेंगे, 2 घंटे आने में लगेंगे, 3 घंटे साइट पे भी होगा. How many such Sundays they will waste for them to eventually arrive upon the point that, okay, this is the good home that I want to buy. So when I say cost of discovery, for developers it was setup, sales office, the whole cost of running of it. For channel partner, it is just getting the customer to the project. And then from there having a 5-7% conversion to booking. And for customer who's saying, kaun jayega? So better stay on rent. Effectively, land is getting costlier. All of these situations actually had created that all the top brands are gradually getting away from affordable category. But if you look at the larger set of consumer where it is in affordable category. Service class, people who have 5-7 years into the work can afford. I'm not talking about the consumer who can't afford. It is the customer who can afford but doesn't have options. So he said there is no other way to solve this but to take the project to the customer. In the past, so I had Xanadu like you introduced. I'm co-founder and CEO of Xanadu. Every time in our traditional classical format when we brought a project to Bombay, project to Pune, project to Bangalore, city warmed up very nicely. That told us customer is there. To solve this problem of discovery. And we realize at the lead front, there's a lot of work which is happening. Already there's a lot of partners who have moved to, 100% sourcing on digital format. But it is still not sweating. Why? Because the holy grail of real estate is transaction table. Unless you unlock that part, it is not going to solve. So we solved it. We brought the project to the customer in a way so that this problem of discovery gets solved. We brought the solution to the channel partners also, so that for them also this pain of taking the customer to the site also gets solved. And we solve this problem to ourselves as a brand, and maybe tomorrow for the industry and fraternity, so that people again start to look at affordable category with a lot of interest. So, which is why then you have to now think, whatever you were doing offline, you can't replicate it online. You shouldn't. Whatever worked in a format, when you are rethinking everything has to change. Okay, and that is what actually would have triggered this question. Growth Housing is the name of that program that we have here last 1.5 months Mumbai is consuming. And it is pretty much challenging all the assumptions with which we have run real estate till now. Yes.
Great. So, as you said, the online versus the offline, and how for online you have to kind of retrofit your campaign. But at the root of it all, it's about removing hesitation, right? So, how do you, how do you actually address that problem of removing hesitation with automation or online tools or what have you with these things? And also where do the stakeholders of marketing fit into it? So where does the broker, the partner, the channel partner, the digital tools, where do they all synchronize together to actually help out the buyer at the end of the day take that jump, take that leap of faith to arrive at their how decision?
Let me give few numbers to have a context to this reference. So right now, growth housing is at today and tomorrow is the allotment stage. Tomorrow allotment opens at 10 a.m. There are about 9,000 customers who have already applied, and the application window is closed a week back. One can't apply; it will open only next year now. Okay. Out of 9,000 customers who have applied, about 5,500 to 6,000 has been through channel partners. Okay, so yes, it could be about 55, 60%, 60 odd percent of the total number. But in quantum terms, this alone itself is a very large number, about 5,500, 6,000. Yeah, 3,000, 3,500 has come through the direct means. Okay, where consumer have decided to engage directly. See, like I said, you have to rethink everything. We had almost between me, Abhinandan sir, all of us, there's almost 2 decades of experience of real estate to where some of the best-in-class experiences, processes we set up. First thing that we had to do is to put it aside and say, "Humko kuch nahi aata." Right. Because you are building a new age business, so you can't come across as "Mereko sab pata hai." Second part of this was create a best-in-class selling experiences. What one has created till now, we had to change it to, because see, tech and digital, these two things, what they are doing is they are changing the way consumer behaves. And before I answer where we, what we looked at also, if you, my background is in FMCG. I worked with Procter & Gamble and Reckitt Benckiser in Middle East. I think most of us would have traveled to Dubai and this thing, you would realize grand malls, large stores, formats, and that is still there. There is experience which comes. When you come to India, the large formats haven't worked. Only a D-Mart is successful, but that is also at the lower end. Most of the experiential selling in supermarkets actually couldn't survive because of how our cities are. It is very difficult for every week for a customer to walk into a supermarket to buy. So that's why the new formats came in. Everything gets delivered at home. E-commerce bypassed the modern trade development in India, and UPI actually pushed it very well. The only category which was outside this was real estate. So we had to invert, like I said, from creating a best-in-class selling experience, we had to create a system where customers should be able to buy rather than us pushing the sales. Which means we have to then think what is critical for a customer to make a buying decision and simplify it to a level so that every step, when the decision is made, there is a reward, there is an incentive, there is a reason for customer to say yes or no. Now in offline, what we end up doing is we invite a very large set of customers in walk-in, and we end up giving similar experience to almost everyone. The business of our business, all of us, is to do business, is not to give experience only, So this process that we have set up, it allows us to engage with the customer who is showing intent at every step and at his convenience. So instead of some salesperson pushing the sales through his own understanding to a customer on a sales office, enough information is being created at different stages of this process for a customer to consume and say, "You know what, I like it, I'm going ahead." When he goes ahead, there is a new chapter that opens up. Basis that new information, customer makes another decision. Okay, then new information opens up. So information is not available freely. Information is saying, "I am willing to go walk with you when you show intent." So there is no free information available, and that is equipped by, we are calling our AI Priya. So likewise, Priya's engagement also keeps going deeper as your relationship with us and the intent level changes. So you could be a lead, then you become a applied customer, then you become a provisionally allotted customer, and then you finally become a customer. At each step, there is different set of information available. Also saying that this is the only information which is available. If you are comfortable making a decision in this information, fair enough. If you are not comfortable in this information, more information will be available next year with maybe different pricing. And we are very clear about it that this project or this process will not be available throughout the year. It opens up like a Amazon Big Billion Day sale. You know, you buy or you don't buy, it closes in a certain period of time. Okay. At each step, customer is buying, nobody is selling. So that was a step 2 to say, you know, we are not going to sell. We will ensure that a platform where customer comes and buys. And third was to make it absolutely simple. You know, over the period of time, our price sheets have become very complicated. You know, just to understand price sheet takes a lot of time. You know, most of the process is hinging on inventories management, so on and so forth. You know, complicated payment plan and negotiation around that. We simplified all of that. Okay, there is no brochure. You know, everything is in a video format, but it is available to someone who applies. For application, there is only a simple setup which has been created, which is the promises of the brand. As far as growth housing is concerned, the biggest promise that has been created is on possession. If you don't like the home, for next 12 months, we'll take it back, no questions asked. Okay. There are other promises also of quality and this thing, but this is the promises of the promises. Basis those promises, if customer trusts the brand, he applies. When he applies, he gets the product, location, growth story, everything he gets. Basis that he selects the unit. So unit is available now. You know, one can select rather than saying yahi hai, yahi le lo. But at the same time, 5 or 6 customers will be simultaneously online, would be looking at the same unit. Now, whoever likes it, someone wants to take his time, go through all the information. Someone says, hey, you know what? I will take the unit first. बाकी सारी बातें बाद में पहले unit ले लेता हूँ. Takes the unit. For everybody else, unit gets locked. They can't pay for that unit. A new unit will open up, where more customers will be waiting because they will be released from all other units. So until now, we used to give unit to a customer. Now we are giving customer to a unit. You know, so everything that we understood till now, we have changed it. Okay. And these 3 things, having good brand promises, nobody trying to sell, but customer actually wanting to buy, and those who are showing the intent of wanting to buy, everything is available for them, and making it simple. Price sheet of ours is 3 lines. AV, duties, total. Nothing else. Everyone can understand. Of course, there are few discounts below for this launch. Price sheet is 3 lines. Layout is very simple. Floor plan is very simple. So everything which is simple then becomes understandable, then doesn't need hand holding, provides enough information for a customer to say, okay, I can buy. Home loan can be done on our platform. All the documents can be submitted on the platform. The pre-sanction can be done on the platform. All the leading banks are saying, hey, we can be on your platform. And from there, customer can directly apply to us. We'll give the pre-sanction there itself. So home is now delivered at the doorstep like any other thing. Okay, and at each step of this is the AI where customer can help. I'll give you another data set. Like we discussed in the beginning, businesses of Sunday, 12 to 6. In these 9,000 applications that have come, from 10 p.m. in the night to 10 a.m. in the night, every day as an average, we are receiving 30 to 40 applications. Everyone who is doing digital business here understands that most of the leads get generated in the night, but you service them in the day. How do you service a consumer when he is interested is what this business does. He can talk to Priya in night at his convenience. He can show the product information to his family at the convenience in a weekday after he has come home from his or her office. And the whole family can consume it for those 15-20 days when the application window is open. So it's not one time, one visit, one decision, which is what all of us want. It is a decision taken by customer knowing fully well, यही information होगी, ऐसे ही process होगा, and I'm comfortable with this. This is not a replacement of sales offices. That business will continue. This is absolutely new way to attract new category of consumer in at least affordable and land as a category, at least for now.